Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to have this live stream today to talk to you guys how I use Notion on my mobile. And I think it's a really big problem because sometimes when our systems get complicated enough, when we start managing enough things, it becomes really difficult for us to be able to feel like we can use our phones to be productive anymore, right? If our dashboard has 10 million and one different views that manage different parts of our life, from being able to manage our tasks, from being able to manage our daily quests, our daily habits, managing inbox items, managing shopping lists, finance management, my network, just so many things that could be managing. How can we actually make sure that we are as effective on our phone, or at least I like to try to get up to 80-90% effective on our phones as we are on our computers? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. It's going to be really exciting. Let's get right into it and let's try to help you be productive on your mobile devices. So today is really interesting because I've set up a demo on my phone to try to show you guys how my phone screen kind of looks like. Again, your phone might look very different. I'm going to be demoing you on a Android device, but as far as I know, the widget is also very similar on a iOS device. So let's show you how that works, okay? So I'm opening up my phone capture right here. You can see my phone over here on the left side here. Let me just point to it that away. And you can kind of see my phone. So this is my phone home screen, okay? And everyone can do this. You can always have your own widgets. This is a Notion widget, by the way, just showing you this thing on the bottom right here. So I'm going to use my mouse maybe and show you. I'm wondering how I can point out to you. Either way, you can see like on the left, on the left there is a favorites little window. It's the black little window there. And how you add that, actually, let me just show you that really quickly, is I just tap on the empty space on my home screen, and you can click on widgets. And now on widgets, you can scroll down all the way to a section that says Notion. And this is your instructions for Android, of course. If you're on iOS, I believe you also just hold and tap and you'll find a widgets category. Let's go all the way down to Notion. Shouldn't be this far down. Let's see, and right here, Notion. And you see that Notion has a few different widgets that you can choose from. You can choose from your favorites. You can choose from your recents. I'm going to choose from my favorites. And the reason why I'm choosing from favorites, you're going to see I have a hack to show you guys exactly how this is going to be good. So I'm going to actually show you from backwards. Okay, so there's three things I want to show you today, which is mobile views. There's going to be the list. I'm going to teach you how to use list views and how to break down the properties. But to show you that, I have to first show you my mobile widget to get to those views, which is my hack currently. You'll see that actually all these favorites right now, I'm just going to click on favorites on the top level here, just to show you guys how I get, maybe I'll just go get that bread. Let's show you just go get that bread. So oops, let me just move that back. Go get that bread. So basically this is my to-do list. This shows me to my to-do list and it'll open that up. Right now I haven't popped up anything. And if you notice, the icon is always cute stuff. It's just like pushing. I just want to make it easy for me to be able to see everything. But you see, I actually have a workspace called Mobile Access. And this shows me everything that I have that's specifically for my mobile views. And if I go into each one of these views, you'll see that, let's say I go to daily quests, or yeah, let's say I go to daily quests, you'll see that each one of these views is optimized for my view that I need to use depending on my mobile usage. So let me go to another one. Let's say, for example, let's go to my inbox. My inbox is in a list view, so I can just add new things, and I can quickly add new example item to my inbox, right? And then it automatically puts it in there and I can see it really easily. I also have things like for, let's say, finance management, so I can just go there as well. I have things for letters, so letters I'm writing, so what I'm doing right now, you know, all those different content ideas that are in. But basically all of these things can be accessed from the home screen, right? So I can just go in and I can click, and so for instead, maybe I go to finance management, I can see all the things I've spent for today. Obviously nothing has been spent today yet, but you can see that if I were to add something, right, let's add something, and now I want to say, hey, I'm outside, maybe I just ate out, so now I can just add something new and I can go ahead and, you know, add new items to my to this, right? So new burrito, for example, or not new burrito, but lunch, and then I can have a burrito. So this is just an example, right? And I can keep adding stuff here. Let's say the amount was let's say 50, or sorry, it's not 50, 9.99, and then the organization maybe was Taco Bell, who knows, but I can go back and I can see that now it shows up here very easy for me. So what I want to show you is there are two ways for you to manage this. The first thing I want to teach you is what makes a good mobile view versus a good desktop view. And then the next thing I'm going to teach you is, okay, now that we know which one is good, which one is not, how can you easily make them all into a separate workspace, which still has access to your tables in your main workspace, but in a very mobile friendly format. And why that's going to be important, well, let me show you why. Let me go back into my main system. Let's just go into my main system. I'm going to go to my home. And you'll see that actually, let's say in my favorites, it looks very, very different. On my desktop, for my favorites, I want to be able to get to my Make Life Simple dashboard really quickly, which is just my daily to-do sections. I want to get to my reflection categories really easily, which is my captain's log, right? Reflecting at the end of the day. Get to alignments, I can see everything that I have to do if I ever want to see a bird's eye view. And then also go to my review cycles if I want to do my reviews and my reflections and my retroactives. And of course, any frequent messages I might be using a lot of time. But anyway, you'll see that on my home workspace, I have a very different view than I do on my mobile usage. And the reason for that is if I go into here and I scroll down my Make Life Simple, well, it's very, very long. And on desktop, it isn't as long in this example, right? So let me go to my Systems for a Better Life and just show you how this is again the demo workspace we have. So let me go into my Make Life Simple. So you see that as a comparison inside my desktop view, it looks really nice, right? It looks really clean, really, really easy for me to start working on, but it's very different on mobile view. I'm not looking to scroll all the way down into like halfway down the screen before I get to reach my daily quest. I want to reach it immediately. So that's why I designed it in a way where I can just go straight into my daily quest just by clicking this favorite button. And then it goes directly into there and I can just start adding into my daily quest immediately. So I just want to make sure that that's very clear. Is like that's one of the best ways that you can go straight in. You don't have to scroll through a lot of stuff. So principle number one is when you're designing a mobile interface, you need to make sure that there's not too much fluff around it so you can directly go into it and access it all the same. So I'm going to rebuild everything with you step by step so that you can also learn exactly how to build out these views and how you can make sure that you are following the best principles to have any view that you like. And again, you could be using our system, you could not be using our system. It's totally up to you. I'm just trying to show you as a viewer how you can make it so that you can have a mobile friendly dashboard at the tip of your fingertips, no matter which system you're currently using. Okay, so this is the part where you're going to build along with me. Let's follow along and let's make sure that you can work together with me and know exactly what needs to be done. Okay, so I'll be using my demo system as the example in this round. So let's go ahead and do that. And what I want you to do is I want you to first identify what you would normally use on the go. Like what databases would you normally use on the go? And for my case, I'm just going to go to my backend and I'm going to look at this. Okay, I'm going to say, okay, so when I'm on the go, I usually need to access things like my success plan. I might want to access my health dashboard. That might be something interesting for me. I might be very interested in checking out my network to see other people that I have to connect to. I might be interested in looking at, let's do one more. Maybe even just my success plan, right? Things I have to do. So those are all the things that I want to have on my mobile. Great. So keeping that in mind, let's open them up. Let's have each one of them open in a new tab, ideally, so that we can have them easily go back to them. So health dashboard, we can do daily quest. Success plan, let's also do let's do shopping list because I think that's an easy one to do. And then let's also do Let's not do finance manager. Let's just do, yeah, I think that's good for now, shall we? Inbox for sure. Inbox you definitely need. Okay, let's start with a simple one. Let's do inbox, right? So inbox essentially, if you guys aren't familiar, it's just a database that I use that helps me be able to add new items to my inbox really, really easily, which is just a simple database. I add it in, I'm able to go ahead and see these are all the shower thoughts I had, and these are all the different ad hoc tasks I might want to do that will eventually be added into a proper database, which might be my success plan, research, anything it might be. Great. So what I want to do is I want you guys to come and follow me and create a new workspace. So I'm going to go into the top left, and here this is where I'm going to hide my phone capture for a second. Is you go to the top left and then you go ahead and you add a new workspace. So what you want to do, you can see that you have a list of all your workspace, right? You can click these three dots and you can click join or create workspace. Everyone follow along with me on this one, okay? We're gonna click join or create workspace. We're gonna click on that. And then it's going to ask us if we're using Notion for ourselves, with our team. Again, you don't need to pay for this. You're just making a new workspace. Yeah, you're totally going to be using the free plan. So what you can do is you can go ahead and you can say, take me to Notion for one person. And then you're just going to say getting ready. Awesome. And then what we can do is you can see that they have a bunch of different pre-made pages for you already. What you want to do is delete all of them. Just get rid of all of them. You don't need them. So I'm going to open this up, just delete all these pages. You don't need any of them, and I guarantee you won't miss them. Okay, so let's delete all of them. And then we're going to have no pages in this workspace. That's perfectly fine. I want you to add a new page. So if we add a new page, and let's call this convenience store, because I like to do it like that. Convenience store is my easiest way to create this page. Or if you're already using our L control systems, we actually have the convenience store right now already built for you if you'd like, at least the simple version of it. So what you could do is you can also move this over, and let me show you how to do that. So if you already have the convenience store, what we can do is we can move it over. We can right click on the convenience store here. We can click move to, and we're going to move to our new workspace. Now, I want to show you one thing is our new workspace doesn't have a good name yet. If you can just see, it says Conrad's Notion. So let's quickly add a really good name for it so we know how to distinguish it if we need to, okay? So I'm going to go here. I'm going to make sure that I go to my settings right here. And then I can change the name of this workspace. Instead of Conrad's Notion, we're going to say, I'm going to call it Mobile Access. And I'm going to call it Demo, like this. But for you, again, you can just call it Mobile Access and it'll be perfectly fine. So make sure you guys are all following along. So far what we've done is we've set up a new workspace. We've deleted all of the demo pages that are created automatically for you. We've set up a convenience store page, right? Or we can move over a convenience store page if we'd like. So I'm going to move one over now. And again, whether you decide to move it or you're creating from scratch, I will show you how that works, so don't worry. So mobile access is where I want to go. You can see it has mobile access right here already. So I'm going to move that right now. So it's moving the content. And then we can see that inside our mobile access demo, if I refresh the page, it should show up in my left-hand side, which it does. Perfect. I have the convenience store. And again, the only difference between what I have here that's going to be automatic and what you can create on your own, it's just simply I might already have some items created for you, but I will again create it from scratch to kind of show you exactly what makes something really nice to view on a mobile and what makes something better to view, let's say, on a desktop, right? So let's go ahead and let's make some. So I'm going to go back here, and if you're already having the dashboard, you don't need to follow along on this so much, but I'm just going to show you as an example. I'm going to create some toggles here just for me to be able to easily sort all these different databases, and I'm going to call this one the inbox. I don't need to make it too fancy. I'm just going to say the first one's the inbox. We said the second one is going to be something fun, which might be our health dashboard. The third one might be something about shopping, so shopping list. The fourth one might be our daily quests. And then the fifth one might be something like our success planning. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So what I want to show you first is right now, if I have this, and let me also just add a store here. I'm gonna make this pretty, maybe 24-hour store. So right now what we have here is just a very simple page. It's showing us, you know, a list of things, but this is still going to increase the number of counts if I go and click on it. So let me show you what I mean. Let's say I favorite this page, and I'm just going to give you an example. I'm just going to, as an example, if I favorite this page, what will happen? Okay, so you see that it's on our left hand side inside this sidebar right here, and I'm going to open up my phone again just to show you guys. And I'm going to show you now, instead, if I didn't have this favorites, okay? If I remove this favorites and I redo this process again. So I'm going to click on an empty space, click on widgets, scroll down to N in my phone for Notion, and I add my favorites section here again, okay? And now it's going to ask me which workspace I want to use for this favorite section. So I'm going to go into my mobile access demo right here. I'm going to click on done. And then you can see that it's showing me my convenience store, right? If I click on convenience store now, it's actually going to give me all of those different toggle sections, which I don't want to do here because it doesn't solve the problem for me. It's still going to be very long and very tedious. Well, not so it's very tedious, but at least it's going to be not the best experience for me to go into click here and then click again. I want to reduce the number of clicks. So let's show you the first way of setting this up, right? I'm going to go into here in my inbox, and I'm going to again show you if I was doing from scratch how I would do it. Let's say I had a database already that was doing the inbox, and again in this live stream I'm not going to show how to build any databases. I'm just going to use database I already have, but you can imagine if you already had a database that was doing this function, how it would work, right? So I'm going to go into my views for this inbox, and I'm going to find a view, and I'm just going to click on this, click on the 6 dots, highlight it, and I'm going to click, or on my keyboard, Command or Control C, and I'm going to go to my convenience store and I'm going to paste it in here just like so. And then once I have this, what's going to happen is I'm actually going to see this gallery view. I'm also going to see a list view, and I'm going to show what the difference is for that. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, and again you can see already on my left side, is I can open up this inbox and I can show you that I have the database here already. Again, not very nice experience because I still have to open it and close it when I don't need to use it. What instead I want to do is click on the big arrow here that says open as page. And once I click on that, it's going to open as page, and it's going to show me only this inbox. I want you to click favorite on the top right here. Again, I need to unhide my phone just to show you. I want you to click favorite on the top right here, because what will happen is now it will show up on the favorites on the top left inside your favorites bar, and we can unfavorite the other convenience store if we like now. And then what happens is if I go back to my phone, let me show you that now. If I go back to my phone and let's say I refresh this, you can see that inside my favorites, I actually have inbox now. And if I click on inbox, it'll directly lead me to my inbox instead of having to go ahead and do so many clicks in a master page that has all these different items. This is the really big hack that will get you to easily be able to access any database, no matter what view you're using, immediately with a click of a button on your mobile phones. So this is a really, really good hack. Now, let's move on from that hack. Let's say now that I'm here, what can I do, right? And I'm showing you two different views. One's a gallery view, so it's going to show me everything like this. And one is going to be a list view that's going to show me everything like this. Generally, I would suggest, and this is just my rough rule of thumb, and you can decide what works for you, is that if I have information that I need to see at a glance, I would use inbox, because inbox, what happens is if I have things with different properties into it, let's say I had and maybe I'll show you an example now. Let's say if my shower thought, right, I also wanted to show, so in this list view, so I'm changing to a list view now on the computer, and let's say on the right hand side I actually want to show information here, and right now in this, obviously in this inbox, you don't have much information I'm showing in it. Okay, I need to keep and hiding my phone capture, but it's fine. But let's say in here I decide to add one more property, and I say I want to show who it's created by. Okay, so created by. And let's say I also wanted to show create a time, just as an example. Okay, so create a time, and then I'm going to show that as well. What happens is immediately on my phone capture, and again, I'm using the same view. On my phone capture, I can see that information. Okay, so this was added on Monday at 3 a.m. This was added by me because my face is there, and so on and so forth. So if you ever want to see information really quickly, list view is usually really good for you. But if you're someone that wants to see something in a very big view and you can want to see it in a more chunky kind of way, and you like that haptic feel of like being able to click on like a big card, gallery view is also really nice. I also really like using gallery view in this situation. And again, in the same thing, I can add created by who, and then also add the time, and you can also see that it shows up just like so. But I will say that it takes up a lot of space, so that unless you're ready to scroll through quite a bit, I wouldn't necessarily use gallery view for everything. But again, it's entirely up to you how you want to use your system, right? I'm just showing you the options on how what would make sense. Now, I will also show you how different views like the board view looks like as we go on in this example. But for now, I'm just going to slowly build as I would for my own personal mobile usage and show you the different nuances of how I would improve things if I were to kind of rebuild it from scratch and not just take a view that's, been created already inside your system. And again, the reason why we're able to start so fast with the inbox is because we already have the views created for you inside our L control system. So that's really nice. Awesome. So let's hide my phone capture now again, and let's go with the next thing that I want to do, which is going to be the health dashboard. Now the health dashboard is going to be really interesting because the health dashboard is going to be in part already a created dashboard. So what do I do in that situation? So let's say I open up my health dashboard, which is, I believe, right here. And the health dashboard basically shows a bunch of stuff like my health information, not to panic, my doctors and everything. And I wanted to show you this as an example because this is an example of a very long dashboard that you might want to show by itself, because you might want to see all this information if you're ever at the doctor's office, right? Or you might want to take something individual out of this. So let's show you first how this works, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I want to actually be able to move this into that convenience store as I previously mentioned. But again, because if it's a dashboard, if I just move it like so, it's not going to be the perfect experience, because that means that when I'm on my desktop, I'm not going to be able to easily access it unless I go and move into that dashboard as well. So what can I do about this? How can I make this process easier, right? So there's a actually really interesting hack. Again, another hack for you to see if you want to have this show up in your favorites on another workspace, but yet still have it live properly in this workspace, which is, again, if you don't know, this is in my CoX3 workspace. So let's show you the steps of how to do this, okay? And you're gonna have to follow along. It won't be too complicated, but it will be a little bit different, okay? So the first thing you're going to want to do is move this to the other workspace as we did before, okay? So we're gonna click move to, just like so, right click move to, and then we're going to move this into our mobile access page, okay? We're going to move this to a mobile access demo. Our mobile access demo, we're going to click on this, and Lissa, I'm really glad you're following. Perfect. So we're going to click on this mobile access demo, and it's going to move our entire health dashboard over. Again, this could be any dashboard that you like, that you want to be able to access in its full entirety. And we will move this back. So I want to show you that, okay? So let's say I moved it over, and we can see it inside this workspace. So I'm going to refresh this just to make sure I see it. I see my health dashboard. Awesome. So what I want to do right now is I want to click on favorites so that it shows up inside my favorites on the left right here. So I'm going to move this down after inbox. It's going to be my health dashboard. Awesome. So let's make sure this works, okay? I'm going to go to my phone capture. I'm going to go back into my home page. I can see that my health dashboard is there. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to see all my health information, my family history, my personal allergies as an example, emergency contacts. Don't panic. These are the ailments you might have quite often. Again, these are all example data from our demo workspace, but you can see all your different information here if you wanted to see it in its full entirety. Now, what you want to do right now is to make sure that any of the databases that you want to access immediately, we want to make sure that we are able to go ahead and access them. So just like before, let's say we wanted to really be able to access all the doctors that we had, okay? I'm going to click on this expand button, right? And then I'm going to make sure that I also favorite this page as well. And if you're doing it on your mobile, you click on the three dots here, and then you click add to favorites. And then you can also see on the left-hand side, inside your sidebar, you can also see inbox, doctors, and then finally my health dashboard. So you can choose directly to go into your doctor's database or just to go to my health dashboard. Now, let me show you the hack, right? So again, you can see it auto refreshes. I can go to click doctors and it immediately goes to my doctors instead. And if I go to my health dashboard, it goes into the main page very easily. So it's very nice, very perfect. But what I want to show you is now I want to move it back to my desktop. How do I move it back into my desktop to be able to access it still on my desktop view and not having to go into this new workspace just to find this dashboard? So the easy way is like so. Okay, let me show you. So let me hide my phone capture again, and we can see that right now my health dashboard is living currently inside my mobile access workspace. So what I can do now is I can move it back. So let's move it back. Let's go click on the one inside this private space, this one on the bottom here. I'm going to move it back, move to, and I'm going to move it to COEX3. And I'm just moving it back to the other workspace. So what happens here is if I then go, and I'm going to also drag it back into the system just to show you. So let me refresh this, drag it back to the system so I don't lose it. So I'm going to drag it back into the system like so. My health dashboard, drag it right in so it's back to its rightful position so you don't lose it. Now I want to show you what happens on the phone, okay? So I'm showing my phone again. Let's go into my phone right here. And I want to show you what happens here. So right now, if I go to my favorites, you see that it shows me only my inbox and the doctors right now. So if I open up inbox, let me just show you what happens is right now you can see that in your favorites, my health dashboard still shows here and I can still edit it and access it just like before. Well, okay, and you have a good question so let me answer that question before I explain what I'm doing and why I did it this way, okay? So if you copy and move the second one, that works if you only have views inside. But because in this situation, we actually have things like that's in plain text inside the page of the database page of the dashboard, like family history, personal allergies, emergency contacts, and others, then you're not able to actually be able to go ahead and have those dynamically update. And that's the problem with a dashboard like this. So why I wanted to show you this process is because I want to show you what will happen if you decide to move a dashboard from one system or one workspace rather to another and then move it back. What will specifically happen in this use case? So the first thing is, even if I move it like this, I'll be able to edit it and access it very easily from this favorites page. I'm able to go ahead and add and edit information. So you can see, cancel on both sides. Maybe I have a asthma. Like I'm able to actually edit all these information and this information will show up on the main page. The other thing that will be very useful for you to know is that if I click on something like, doctors and whatever, you'll see that I'm able to actually go ahead and still continue using that. Now, the only thing that I found that is a problem is that you'll see this top level bar here that says move to a certain workspace in red, and that can get very annoying. So I wanted to show you this example is that, hey, you might feel like you want to move a whole dashboard over, and that's fine. And you can do that for something like my health dashboard very easily. You can access it like this, but there is a better way for you to access the things that you actually want to see when you want to see them. And this is why I'm showing you this live stream. So the first way was having this convenience store page, right? That would automatically show you all these different things. You can hide and show very easily. Now, let me show you the second way for health dashboard, okay? And again, this might be a way that you might appreciate more if you find it to be more useful for your use case. So hiding my phone capture again, let me just show you. Ed has a really good suggestion, which is if you have something like your dashboard that's already the super long one for Make Life Simple, and you want to bring that over, all you have to do is just copy that, because for things like Make Life Simple, again, just to show you, all these different pages don't really have anything unique in these in this information that you need to dynamically change. Of course, these mantras, if you want them to be the same on both sides, then what I just shared just now will be very useful for you. But for the most part, if you have a lot of linked views, then it makes it really easy for you to go ahead and just move around and, you know, be able to do whatever you need to do. So what I want to show you now instead is one more way, and then I promise I'll get to showing the rest of the different ones, and you'll roll through this really fast. But I just want to make sure that you have a good understanding of the fundamentals. So what you want to do here, let me go ahead and make sure that I'm on my health dashboard, is I want you to see one more way of doing this. I'm going to copy the link for this, okay? And then I'm going to go into my mobile page, the convenience store. And inside this health dashboard, I'm simply going to press link to page, just like that. So what happens when it's in the link to page? Okay, I want to show you what happens. I'm going to go back into my phone capture and show you. You'll see that if I click on any of these favorites, I'll go directly into the page, right? And instead, if I go and favorite the convenience store as well, just so I have that also on my home screen, just to show you. If I favorite the convenience store as well, I can click on that and I can see that my health dashboard, it shows up there. I can click on that and it can lead me directly to the system. But you see that it also already brings me back to another workspace, which may or may not be a good thing for you. But why I like this way better is because it can just automatically go directly into that workspace and be able to see it as you need to see it. So that's also a nice hack for you. But the only issue is that you're not going to be able to add it to your favorites, which is what we wanted to do to limit the number of clicks, right? Because what happens is if I go ahead and go to my health dashboard and add it to my favorites, let's say I add it to my favorites just like this. This will actually add it to my favorites for this workspace instead, which is not what we want. So I just really wanted to make sure that you knew that kind of difference that was going to happen if you make a convenience store and you send it off like that. And again, you can use any other page to wrap this. Essentially what we're just doing is we're just making a page that has this link to this health dashboard. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it, but there's just another easy way, and this is probably even easier than the way we did before. I just want to show you another example. Okay, so let's go ahead and fast forward to different options that we're going to do. So let's go ahead and hide this thing again and then show you really quickly. I'll just do a few in a row just to show you how I would add something into my convenience store, how it looks currently, how I would improve it, and then finally I'm going to end with how I would recreate my planning dashboards inside the convenience store so that I can even start planning from my phone, which is really, really nice. Okay, very cool. And by the way, welcome to our new joiners. Lovely to have you guys here. Lovely to see you guys. So the next thing I want to show you here is if I want to do something like daily quests in my shopping. So for shopping, it's going to be a fun one. I'm just going to be showing something like our meal planner. So let's go ahead and find our meal planner right here. And then if you're not familiar, we already have a view for the meal planner that's going to show you exactly what groceries I want to buy, things like that. So I'm going to take out this view, copy it, right? And then I'm going to go back into my convenience store, go to my shopping, and then paste that into there. For daily quests, I'm also going to do something very similar. So daily quests, I'm going to go ahead and find my daily quest just like so. And then I can click on this and I can see that there's a breakdown per day. So I'm going to, oh, not breakdown, I'm going to see my complete view. And again, I will show you how to build something from scratch. So don't worry if you want to know exactly, hey, how do I even make a linked view? I actually have a video, I might link it here, and you can see how to create a linked view. But I will brush upon that a little bit inside this live stream, so don't worry too much about that. So I'm going to click paste this inside daily quest as well. And then lastly, I'm going to paste something inside success planning, which is going to be a board view. And I'm going to show you how that looks and how that works inside here as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to show Conrad's preferred view. And I'm just going to take this and paste it into here. By the way, guys, remember to stay hydrated, drink some water. So I'm going to go ahead and drink some a little bit here. Awesome. You guys are very welcome. I found this partly by accident, partly because I had a very strong aversion to using my phone with Notion, and I thought that it would be really cool to share with you guys exactly how I do it and see if there's anything that you guys can learn from my experience. Okay, so awesome. So I have a few more different items in here. I want to show you how they all look and what I would do to make them different, okay? So I'm going to open up my phone capture again, just to show you guys. And you guys can see that right now I have a few items in here that I might want to use. Again, it's going to be, next thing is going to be shopping, and you can see that it's very big, very large. So what you would do is you just click on the little expanding arrows, make it its own database, and you click on favorite as usual. So what you can do is that you can see it on your favorites now. You might want to redrag it to however you like. Maybe you put it under doctors, just as an example. And then what I can do is I can go ahead and press the home button. I'm able to see it inside my favorites here, right? I can go to grocery list and I can see everything. Now, this is table view. When would you want to use table view? Well, table view is very useful if you ever need to click into it to see information that is not directly living in that database. Let me show you what I mean. So right now I see cheddar cheese, right? And I'm like, okay, cool, I need cheddar cheese. But how much cheddar cheese do I really need? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to my meal. I'm gonna find Ami rice. And I'm gonna see, okay, so to make this, I need actually this amount of cheddar cheese, okay? I'm like, that makes sense. I need 6 tablespoons. So therefore, I'm going to get a small bag, big bag, or medium bag. That's the decision I can make only after I see what exactly I'm creating. So it's really useful for me to be able to go and click that, and also be able to easily go and click, hey, I purchased this, and then it disappears from my list really easily, right? So I'm just gonna undo that because I don't need that to disappear. Versus if I have a list view, let me show you what a list view looks like. A list view, I can also have that check mark. So I can check mark and it will automatically disappear from this list. You just saw that, right? I'm going to undo it, comes back up. But if I decide to show that property as well, let's say I also want to show my meal and I want to show this just like that. If I click on Omni Rice, it doesn't take me to that meal. Like, unlike how I had it on my, the table view before. But anyway, I do want to show you this because this also looks really nice. So it depends on your aesthetic as well, right? So I want to make sure I can sort this properly. And unfortunately on your phone, you won't be able to have the intense sorting that you might like. So I want to show you, if I was on my computer on my list view, I want to put the check mark first before I show the meal, because it's going to make it a lot easier to see on my phone. So let me just show you live. On my phone now, you can see the check mark is on the left-hand side, and then the meal is on the right-hand side. And then one more thing I can add here that might be interesting is I also can show when. So I'm eating this on Friday, on Saturday, and you can already see that on mobile, it starts getting really, really convoluted. So the next thing I want to teach you is, how do you keep things clean? And my best answer for that is I usually keep it to showing only 2 or maximum 3 properties. 2 properties is generally the safe bet, because 2 properties will show you all you need to see and without much clutter. So if I remove the when, then it can show this very nicely. But also, of course, you might also want to see something like the aisle that you're going to buy this in, which makes it really easy for you to go, and therefore I might not want to see my meal instead. So you can already see that it's getting a bit messy in list view, which is why I sometimes like using table view for different databases that I find that I need to access very frequently and access different information about this very frequently. So let's go to my table view and show you what I would improve about this, right? Just from the from the start. So I would put the checkbox on the left hand side because it'll make it really easy for me to check things off, and you can see already it automatically updates. I can shrink this a little bit so I can make it easier for me to see. So once I shrink it, it becomes easier for me to check them off. And the last thing I might want to do is, you'll notice that I scroll to the right, all I can see is a meal. But just like before, I showed you that we have something called aisle. So we might want to go and show aisle as well very easily and put it on the third tab. So I can just immediately go to the aisle and I can go and shop. Another thing I can do is I can add a sort, right? When I'm at the store, I might want to shop aisle by aisle. So I'm going to add a sort, and I'm going to say, as long as the aisle is currently ascending, it's going to show me all of the aisles in alphabetical order. You can see that dairy stays together, fruits and produce stays together, and everything becomes really easy for me to go ahead and say, hey, I'm at the store now, I'm just going to buy this, this, and that. And it's really easy for me. Again, I just need to click on grocery list and it automatically gets me brought into here, which is absolutely beautiful in my opinion. So that's one example of how I would clean it up for something like a grocery list. Let's do another example for daily quest. And I think this one is very relevant for everybody who is using daily quest or tracking any daily habits of any kind. So I'm going to go back into my convenience store on my mobile again. And on my desktop, I'm just going to show the daily quest just to show you the difference in example. And inside my convenience store, I'm going to find daily quests. And just like before, I'm going to expand it to its full screen. And then I'm going to add it to favorites on the left hand side. And then I'm going to have my daily quest here. I'm going to drop it in right under here inside my favorites again, so I can access it very easily. And then I can see that right now I'm already starting to see different information. So let's make sure I can load this properly. Let's go ahead and reopen the daily quest and see what's happening here and how come I can't see it. So I'm going to see my sorts. It's by wake up time. Great. And I want to see my filter to see why can't I see this. Okay, you see on the right hand side, so I already see my daily quest, but on my left hand side, I don't seem to be able to see it. So let's play around just a little bit and see what's going on here, okay? So it seems like there might be a bug with the show property. So what I'm going to show you here instead is, if this happens, instead of using the show property to do a filter, I'm going to add a different filter that's going to show me my wake up time contains is today. So this is just another example of me showing you how to fix things that work or don't work. And again, it doesn't show up. I'm very curious actually. No, so it has nothing to do with that filter. I might have to troubleshoot that a little bit more, but it's definitely a new thing that's happening today. I think it might be a small Notion bug. So yay, we're bug fixers, we caught it. But let me just hide all of the I'm gonna do one more hack. Let's just see if I can do one more hack. So I'm gonna do the show property, but what I'm going to do here is just hack my show property. Shows more than one thing. So I'm going to show maybe 3 things today. Again, you shouldn't have a problem. This should be fixed really soon because this is a bug, I'm very, very sure. But let me go ahead and do show 3 instead. Let's see what happens here. So refresh that. So it should show 3 items in this database now. But again, on my left hand side, it's not showing 3 databases. Let me go ahead and see daily quest. Okay, it shows well here. It's just on the linked view. It does show. Oh, I know what's happening. That's really interesting. Okay, I know exactly what happened. Okay, So on my phone, I'm actually back in time. On my phone, I'm currently on Eastern Standard Time, which means that it's not the 5th of June yet. So it was only a bug that was showing on my phone. So that was very interesting. Okay, let me go ahead and fix that. So let me go ahead and also hide my phone for a quick second, and I'll change it back to my current time zone, which is in Singapore time zone. But I was on EST earlier just to synchronize my time with some of my folks back home. That's really interesting. Okay, so going back to here, let's go ahead and make sure my dates are correct. And then I'm going to show my phone capture again. I'm going to go to daily quest, and you can see it's showing my June 5th again. Awesome. So oops, that was a small bug in logistics there. But yes, perfect. I'm going to show it here. I'm going to change my show property back to 1. Again, you don't need to know any of this. This is fine. I'm just hacking it to show more than one item. But you can see now I have this. Okay. So again, what was the rule I told you earlier? If you have a lot of data to enter or a lot of data to access, you definitely want to use a table view. And the reason behind that is now I can go ahead and scroll left and right on my phone. So I'm going to show on my phone. Scroll left and right on my phone, and I can start checking things off. Wake up time, make my bed, morning water, meditate. And you can see that my progress keeps going up really easily. So I'm able to just keep checking things off. And it becomes really easy for me to go and reach 70%, for example, of my morning progress. Awesome stuff. So I want to show you the other things as well. So I do have a list view just to show you. And the list view is nice when you want to see it's all your progression. You want to see what time you woke up today. You want to see, things like, your different progression. But what I would recommend for this view, instead of showing, so in this filter, instead of just showing only one item, I want to show everything for the week. So I'm going to show a filter here. And again, you can do this all on your phone really nicely. Again, your date time is within the past week. And I'm going to show that. And I'm going to make sure I have a sort. Okay, perfect. I do have a sort. So you can see that this shows all my different days for the last week. And, what time I woke up as an example, and how much progress that I had for each day. Again, this makes it really easy for me to see in a list view format. Another thing you can do is a visual format. So this format instead shows you a gallery view image of any image I upload to the cover, right? So let's say, for example, I'm just going to expand this and use a random cover. Let's say I just take a random thing. Let's say I watched Netflix that day, okay? So you can see that it shows up here really nicely. And again, if you like gallery view, if you like bigger, chunkier blocks, I really recommend gallery view over list views to view something like this. Okay, so this is an example of how you would do something like daily quests. And for the last example I want to show you is going to be something like, or the last example for our pre-built pages. And then I'll spend maybe around 10 minutes just showing you how I would build a new page from scratch. Is I can go into here and I can show you that I have this success planning, which is in different blocks. And for this, I don't necessarily feel like the best view is going to be in a Kanban board view. I personally do use it in a Kanban board view, but what I would recommend you is to try and make a view that shows it in a list format, because we don't necessarily need to edit a lot of this information. We just need to see what needs to be done and when it needs to be done by. So let's make a new view here. I'm going to show you. And again, the best way to make new views is probably on your computer instead of on your phone, just because you can do so much faster on your computer. So let's show you how to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is now you're watching on my computer, I'm going to add a view, and I'm going to make a new view. And the reason why I just made a table view is because it doesn't really matter what view I'm going to make, because I'm going to clone this today's quest view. So I'm going to clone that. And then for this today's quest, I'm going to change it into a list view to show you how that looks. Okay. So once I change it to a list view, all the filters and all the sorts will be passed on. So I don't have to rebuild the filter and the sorts. That's the first big reason why I decided to duplicate instead of create from scratch. And then what will happen is I can then show you, for example, different properties. And again, on my phone, I'm going to switch into my list view, and I'm going to show you what makes sense to show, what may not make sense to show. So the first thing is I might want to see something about my rewards. So how much rewards I'm going to get for finishing this task, right? So I'm going to show my rewards. I'm going to get amounts of experience. That's going to be proportional to how difficult of a task it is and how urgent is it to do, right? The next thing I might want to show is the time block that I want to work it on. And again, this is very unique to you. Maybe you use priority instead. So I will show you both. Let's show priority first. So if I show priority instead, you can see that this is my frog, this is my first priority, my second priority, my third priority, and then you can work on it like that. And again, I think this is a very nice way. This makes it really easy for you to work on things, and I might just settle it there. But if you're someone that uses time block system like I do, then you might also want to show the time block instead. And the time block instead, you can show it like this. And again, like I mentioned, it starts getting really ugly on your mobile if you have more than 2 or 3 properties. So I might hide priority in favor of time block because I've already scheduled the block of time it should fit in. Therefore, that's how it should be shown for me as well on my phone. So it's up to you. You can use priority, you can use time block, but the idea is that you should have one property shown for you to know when you should do it, right? It could be your priority, could be your time block, could be your impact, anything that helps you understand when you should do it. And the next property you should show is something that helps you understand how difficult of a task it is. And again, if you have something that tracks the time instead of our gold system, that's totally fine. But just whatever shows you for you what is specifically going to be the amount of time that's going to spend on this task. And it can help you gauge how much time you have to work on it. Okay, so as before, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the 3 dots. We're going to click on add to favorites. So what we can see already is inside our favorites bar, we already have success plan, inbox, doctors, for example, grocery list, daily quest, and convenience store. Makes it really easy for you to start working on things like this. So I'm really happy I got to show you that. So the last thing I want to show you is, well, right now, everything here is more like, hey, I'm able to work on these items. I'm able to work on these tasks. But what if I want to actually plan out my tasks? Is there any room for a more complicated workflow by using this? And I want to say yes, 100 times yes. So I want to show you as an example what I would do, okay? And again, yours might be different, but I'll just show you an example of what I would do. So I'm going to add a new page here, and I'm just going to call this mobile planning, okay? Mobile task planning. And again, you might call it something different. I'm just calling it something easy for myself to be able to see that, hey, this is, if I ever want to plan on my mobile, this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to use a lightning bolt to signify that this is a very action-orientated template, right? And the first thing I'm going to do is favorite, so I can show you on the phone live how it looks. So I can see on my phone, mobile task planning. Right now it's empty, right? So I can show you guys how that will look as we go on. So we have mobile task planning right now, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to show first. So again, I'm just going to take a lot of views from my pre-built views, but I will show you exactly how I will customize them. So that's very important. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to show you guys the example of, okay, these are all the projects I'm focusing on this week. So I'm going to copy that. Actually, I'm just going to take this whole section right here, and I'm going to make it mobile friendly. Okay, so let me show you how that works. So I paste this whole section. It's going to be my reference for key results and projects this week. So first, on the left-hand side, you can see that it's already looping or wrapping. What that means is that it's not staying on one line, the text. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to say key results and projects. So I'm going to take out this week so that it stays on one line. So I'm able to easily see it just like that. And when I open it up, you can see that on the left-hand side, it gets really, really ugly. Like that's absolutely horrible. And we're seeing that right now, like there's too much information here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all the information. And again, like I said before, for anything that is just displaying information, I want to make sure that I don't need to see, it shouldn't be as chunky as this. I don't like it being so chunky. So I'm going to, again, create a new view, and I'm going to just duplicate this view. So instead of goals in focus, I'm going to call it key results in focus. And I'm going to make this into a list view. Okay, I'm going to double check this one. Okay, it's showing that I want to show a property called details. So that's perfect. So I'm going to delete that and then make sure I only have that list view because I don't need any other views. And again, you might have multiple just per your fancy. That's why I like Notion. You can do anything you want anytime you want. So that's very good. But I'm just going to show you how I have something called details here. And then you can see that on my phone immediately, I can see that these are my key results that I have to accomplish. Run 1 km in one go, maybe get 90% on a midterm, and maybe improve happiness at 20%. Again, all just examples that are part of this demo workspace. But what I want to do now is I want to create a new view for the projects that I'm going to focus on. And this is where I start building a custom view, because obviously we do have that view right here that we can copy from, but I do want to show you how I will build from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to create a new view again, and this time I'm going to duplicate this key results in focus, but everything's going to be different, right? Because it's going to be projects instead of key results. And I'm going to call this projects in focus. Okay, projects in focus. And if you're familiar with our system, essentially when we decide things are in focus is during our weekly retrospectives, our weekly review cycles. And when we go into our weekly review cycles, and which I won't show in this video, it'll be a bit too much to show. But when you do your review cycles, essentially what we do is we determine based on where we want to go in the long-term future, based on our goals and our key results, what projects are important for us to start working on in this week. So basically what we want to do now is we want to set a few filters. So I want to just check on this to see what's the difference. Okay, so we want to show all our projects that are not complete and focus just check marked. And I'm going to add one more just to make sure my subtype does not contain onboarding. Again, this is just because we have the tutorial island in here. We don't want to show that. But basically what we can show is that, again, we have all this information. These are only the ones that are currently in focus. So we won't see anything that isn't in focus currently. And then all this is shown up. So I'm going to drag that into my empty space up there. And I'm going to then delete this whole space right here because I don't need to see anything else. All I need to see is my key results in focus. Okay, right here. And also my projects in focus. So if I ever want to see all the things I need to work on, all the different items that might be important to me, this is how I can do it. Okay. Now the next thing I want to show you is, okay, now that I have key results in focus and my projects in focus, and the intention actually is to be able to dynamically just jump right into it. So let's say I wanted to work on a project right now, right? Maybe I want to work on something like cardio training. I can just open it up directly and I can already start seeing what I have to do for this cardio training projects, right? Again, I don't have any tasks in here right now, but if I had tasks in here and had research, I can already start working on this and, you know, digesting this and making sure that I'm putting progress towards this. Now, what I want to show you, and maybe I do want to show you one that has an example. I believe this one has an example. Let me just load this. Yeah, so this one has a task in here already, right? So I can see the task in here really nicely. But what I want to show you is, depending on the different tasks that I already have in focus, I have a lot of different tasks or quests rather that I can go on, that I can embark on, that I could start getting things done. And that's going to be through this view here. So what I want to do is I want to copy this view, this ready to start view, and I'm going to take it into my mobile task planning, and then I'm going to paste it into here. And again, this one is, I'm going to build from scratch because I want to make sure that you guys are able to see everything that is supposed to be here. So let me show you why there isn't anything and how I can add something new to show there. So right now, if I add something like inside my project of, let's say, my Again, that's just getting a dog. I think that's the most fun example. So I'm going to add a new task, and I'm going to say visit the local dog shelter. Okay, and I'm going to make this a high priority perhaps. Immediately inside my success plan section here and ready to start, it's going to show up because the upstream item, which is the project getting a dog, is currently in focus. And for my task, I like to have them in a gallery view because it makes it really easy for me to be able to access it and be able to, you know, go ahead and work on it just like by clicking on it. It's nice and easy. I won't miss, right? My finger is on the trigger. I can click on it and it becomes really easy for me to click on it and start working on it. And of course, also, if you'd like, you can also show different information like the experience you'll get and stuff like that. Really, it's anything that's up to you. But what's important for me here is not only being able to see like what's ready to start, but also being able to drag it into my workflow so I know that this is the things I need to work on. So how I can do that is I can also go back to my daily planning page and I can take only the active quest section, take that, and then paste it into here. And for my active quests, again, following my principles, is that you want to make sure that it's a table view because a table view will make it really easy for you to edit things. So as an example, I can go into here and I can start adding the priority. I can start adding the status of when I'm working on it, the due dates, the difficulty if I think it might take longer than I think it might. And it becomes a really easy way for me to start planning out everything, excuse me, as I need to as I go through the day. So this is one of the last things I want to show you because I think it's really important for you to also be able to plan your day. And again, principles is like so. You have your projects and your key results to focus on. You have your tasks that you're going to be doing based on what's currently in focus. And then finally, you're going to make sure that you can start scheduling your task every single day. So let's say if getting a dog is something I want to, or sorry, visit a local dog shelter is something I want to do, I'm gonna click and hold and I can drag that into my today's quest just like so, and it becomes something that I can start working on. I can set a priority, let's say it's my 4th priority, okay? And then I can go back into my home page. I can go to my success plan and I can see that immediately visit a local dog shelter is something that I should do today. And of course, if I want to show instead priorities instead of time blocks, I can do that as well. So instead of time blocks, I can, instead of visible properties, I can hide that. No, wait, time block, I should hide that. I can show my priority instead. So P for priority. Let's go, priority. And then I might even also show something like my reward. So show that. Done. So perfect. So I can see my priorities here, and just like that, I can have a very clean and very concise task management. So that's kind of what I wanted to show you today. I really enjoyed having this. I really enjoyed having this opportunity to share with you guys. One more thing you can do just to show you guys is if you also wanted to select things in progress for this database, what you can do is you can just duplicate the projects in focus view, and then what you can do from here is having a filter. Instead of focus is checkmark, we just take off that that filter, and we will just end up seeing all our different projects, whether they're in focus or not in focus. So we can add a checkmark here for focus, so F, focus, put that before the information, right? Because on mobile, we want to make sure we see that. And then therefore, if I go into here, okay, I think this will be the last example. Therefore, if I go into my mobile task planning, and then I decide that I have another project that I want to set in focus. So projects, currently projects, incomplete projects, let's call this incomplete projects. But basically what I can do is, let's say I've had a new project here. That was just a random project 1, 2, 3. And then I also had a task in here. So random tasks 1, 2, 3, do this 5, 5, 5. Again, just examples I'm going to show you. and make them different impacts. Okay, so I want to make sure you see this, okay? Because this is going to be, it's going to happen quite fast. If I decide that my random project 123 is currently in focus, so I check this off with the check mark right here, immediately in my success plan, I'm going to be able to see all these different tasks that I just said I just put inside that project to be ready to start. And if I want to work on them, I can drag them into my today's quest. So this is how I can easily manage everything just from a mobile phone. So that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned a lot. This was a really fun experiment for me to also learn from when I was going through this, because again, using Notion on my mobile was a very frustrating experience, and I wanted to make it a lot easier for everybody. So thank you guys again for watching. Hope you enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, have a wonderful weekend ahead.